Alright, welcome back to Holt Hanley weather. In this video, we're going to be looking at the number of storm systems that are moving through the northwest and the south right now. And then at the end of the video, we're going to take an in-depth look at if one of those storm systems can roll up the east coast to create a possible nor'easter this coming weekend. So let's first take a look at the surface temperature map. As you can see, a large portion of the country is actually relatively warm right now. You can see 47 up on the eastern side of California, which is typically colder this time of year because of such high elevations. You can see some 47s in Texas, as well as a 57 in Alabama. But as you can see as we click through to the next slide, that cold air is going to start moving down from the northern portions of the country, really pushing into Colorado. This is now Wednesday morning, kind of a little later Wednesday morning. You see that Arctic air continues to pull down, although the southern states still stay relatively warm. And then pushing into Wednesday afternoon, sort of evening time, you see it starts to warm up a little bit. And then come Thursday morning, that cold air makes another advance down into the southern portions of the country. Now let's take a look at why that cold air is coming down. And it's exactly because of these two troughs that you see over most of the country. As you can see, there's one that comes down. The trough axis is basically hitting Louisiana. And then there's another trough that comes down, kind of pushing in through Nevada and Southern California. These are the two storm systems that we're going to be looking at. So this is Wednesday morning, and moving into Wednesday night, you see that trough farther to the east is actually going to weaken. That's what's going to be bringing some rain to the southern states. Not too much, but it'll be something. And then that other trough you see completely deepens right over Arizona. And this is the one that we're actually going to be looking for that could turn into a nor'easter later in the week. So you see that comes through Texas. This is now Friday morning, and it almost combines with another little trough that is over New Mexico. And a large ridge has built over most of the western portions of the country. Now, as you can see, that trough is now above Mississippi. And then let's take a good look at this because it might be able to come up the east coast and turn into a nor'easter come Saturday, Sunday. You can see those areas of purple. That indicates real cold air. Again, this is 500 millibars, but that gives a good idea of where the cold air is coming down. So if this did turn into a storm, you could see some snowfall in the northeast states. But again, it all comes down to that path. As right here, it looks like it's a little too far off the coast. But we can get a better idea of that by looking at the 500 millibar vorticity. So this is Wednesday morning. You see those two lows from the east and west of Texas. And let's pay close attention to that more western low. That trough builds in, picks up some moisture in the Gulf. That's going to bring some rain to the southern states come Friday. So this is Friday morning, moving into Friday evening. It almost looks like it disappears, but it kind of jumps up to the Oklahoma area. You can see that real center bullseye of large positive vorticity. And we're going to keep our eye on that. It's moving down into Mississippi, Alabama. And then you see there's one low pressure system right above the Great Lakes. And then another low pressure system, lots of positive vorticity, off of South Carolina. Well, those are going to combine. This is Saturday morning. And then the question here is if this trough can kind of move a little bit farther north than it's saying right now, then we could get a good snowstorm come Sunday morning for the northeast. I'll keep watching this storm. Right now, if I had to really gut instinct, I would say they're going to miss out. But we're going to look at the precip forecast at the end of this video, where I'll dive deeper into exactly where there could be some snow. So let's look at the northwest, the precipitation type and rate. This is Wednesday morning. As you can see, there's some snow in Wyoming and rain in the northwestern parts of Washington. Moving into Wednesday night, you see that one low pressure system that was sitting off the northwest coast, lots of Pacific moisture. It's going to move into the Washington, Oregon area. You're going to see snow in the northern portions of eastern Washington, northern Idaho, and then some snow in the eastern portions of Oregon as well. Moving into Thursday morning, that whole low just moves off to the east, bringing some snow to Montana and eastern portions of Idaho. Let's move down to the south to take a look at that first low pressure. Remember the two troughs, we're going to look at that first one that's farther to the east. So this is right now, Wednesday morning. We're getting some rain in Mississippi, some rain in Louisiana, because that low pressure system is just right above Louisiana. And you notice all the rain appears to be on the right side of the low pressure system. That's because that's where the counterclockwise motion is bringing in that warm, moist air from the Gulf. And when you bring in warm air, it's going to rise up, create clouds, which creates storms, which creates rain. There could be some nice thunderstorms associated with this low that will move through. We'll see this is now Wednesday night. Most of the energy of the storm has kind of dissipated, but there's portions of Florida that could be getting 0.2 inches per hour, which is, pretty good. Probably not going to be more than an inch in most places of the south associated with this low. But then let's take a look. That low moves off. This is now Thursday morning. That low is long gone. And we'll just forget about that one. That's not the one that could move up the East Coast. But come Friday morning, we see this is when that second trough comes in, and there's little portions of rain in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. And then around Friday morning, it kind of strengthens. That's when it combined with that other trough. And, Alabama could be seeing 0.2 inches per hour. Western sides of Florida could be seeing 0.2 inches per hour, maybe even a little bit more. And then you see, this is a great indication for that nor'easter. On Saturday morning, that low, let's go back to Friday night. You see, it almost looks like it just dissipates, kind of spreads out. And then Saturday morning, that low appears like it kind of reforms and gains some strength again as you get some decent rainfall moving up the East Coast. Let's check on the 24-hour accumulated precip for that same region, just to see what kind of numbers we're looking at. So, come Wednesday night, what's the highest we can find here? About an inch in parts of Mississippi, maybe an inch in Alabama come late Wednesday night. And then moving into Thursday morning, you see the whole region is pretty much covered with rain. The question is, will anywhere get over an inch? My instinct right now is telling me probably not. Looking at the vorticity of the storm, it didn't look like it was especially strong, and the isobars, the lines of constant pressure, really seem to get a lot flatter towards, or more horizontal towards the end of this system, and that basically means it's losing its power, losing its energy, and you might get an inch of rain, but that's probably the best you're going to get. But then that storm that comes through on Saturday morning, we're seeing an inch and a half. And that's pretty good. In parts of Florida, wow, maybe up to 2 inches in the more southern parts of Florida. That's because that moisture that's getting pulled in off the Gulf, and an inch moving up the East Coast. That's where we said that storm is going to get stronger. And based on the 24-hour accumulated precip, if this thing moves up to the northeast, you could be in the chance of seeing a nice snowstorm. So let's take a look at what that low is going to do. So that first low you see moves off Florida, that one's gone. And then right here, it doesn't really look like anything is in the makings for the northeast. This is Friday morning, and then this is where it kind of collected again. This is, again, early Saturday morning. You see it strengthen. That rainfall moves up the east coast. The question is, where will be along the coastline? Here you see it's just off parts of North Carolina, and it says 995. That's pretty good for a storm. It's not the best, but it's something. And in this model, so this is the Wednesday update for the Euro model, and they have it moving kind of more in the Atlantic. The question is, will that be able to steer its way into the northeast, creating some snowfall? Again, there's going to be some cold air there. So really all that matters is if this low can find its way into the northeast, and we could have some exciting forecast videos coming up if that happens. As always, if you have any advice for ways I can improve these forecasting videos, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.